Okay, Tim, I guess we're live. This would have been a Saturday morning marketing Smarties, but it's really not. It's a Roland and Tim uh, just off the cuff show where we have what I call a white box open house. And you're going to find out what I'm talking about when I say a white box open house sometime. But at the moment, I don't even know if anyone's watching. So,
I think Kathy Pop and Barbara Quick are out there.
okay, that's cool. Well, then Barbara Quick and Kathy Pop, you get the initial opportunity if you want to join us in the green room. There is no uh, there's
No talking point, no agenda. It's just a free
no
for all.
itinerary. We're just having an open house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the green
Up,
room key.
Arthur Moorhead is on YouTube. Um,
Oh, cool.
I can't post the link over there though. The link is on the YouTube page though in the description, Arthur, and then you can pop over to the DIY site where you can comment there. Or
Actually, I'm not going to actually post the link in the website, but what I am going to do is I'm going to
no,
send
no,
it.
I was talking about the link for him to get to the website to
Oh,
comment.
yeah. So let me get this green room link to Kathy and to Barbara. And if we have other people that come along, we'll send them the green link too. Green room link. I mean, now. So Kathy and Barbara both have the link. You're welcome to join us. And we're just sitting around with a cup of coffee in our living rooms or wherever we are. Tim's studio, my living room, and just bringing everybody up to date on what's going on with us.
Yeah, I just about live in this room anyway. I mean, I'm here from ridiculous dark 30 to literally dark 30 at night.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm in front of this computer or my other one, which is a laptop. I won't say 24/7, but pretty damn close. So looks like Barbara Quick has to do a little something, and she might be joining us. And we have 3 people watching, so one of them is probably Kathy, one of them is probably Barbara. And welcome, Kathy, if you would like to
Like I
join
said,
us.
Arthur Moorhead's on YouTube. He's watching us. So, and we may have a lurker on the one of the two sites there.
A lurker, huh?
Yeah, lurk.
Somebody that we don't know watching us, trying to pick up some tidbits.
Well, it could be that, or they just don't feel like they're qualified. You'd be amazed, and I'm sure you've run across this in other instances, that people would be amazed at how many people lack to have the confidence to even voice a question, much less an
Yeah.
opinion on something. The internet intimidates them.
Sure. And one of the things that we do with the show, the regular Smarty show, is we try to encourage people, get a camera, get a mic, and express yourself. And if you get over the fear of trying, there's a lot to be gained. So, I mean, once you do it, you look back and say, "Hell, that wasn't so bad." And, I can do better next time, but at least I've done it once. And then you do it again, and all of a sudden you're going, "Dude, I like this. This is fun." And you find a way to express yourself that becomes more natural once you get going with it. So all we can say is try it. And there's zero. What do they say? There's zero success rate in not trying.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You can't fail if you don't do it, but you darn sure can't succeed either. So,
Zero opportunity there. So and I'm proud to say that the Smarties show has been on for, as of like November or so. Smarties show has been on for 3 full years. And I was startled to look back and see that I've got like 120 some odd videos of Smarties all stockpiled and stacked up and waiting to be dispensed with. Maybe I'll turn a few of them into some podcasts. And I do want to look into Anchor get more experience with Anchor even more, because I think Anchor might be a competitor with the traditional podcasting thing with the iTunes and this and that. But Anchor seems to be a good delivery service, and it's all free. YouTube is free. Anchor is free. Lightstream is free. VCP Events plugin is free. We can do a lot with these free tools. And I feel like if you want to get going for business purposes, or you want to get going for accentuating your hobbies, or just expressing yourself on any subject, or talking to people and doing anything like that, you can do that with these tools that we're using right now.
Yeah, and that's what makes it really nice, is that technology has made this so simple that literally that's all you need to live stream today. It's just that little dude right there in a cheap $20 tripod and a $5 to $10 little mount to hold it on the tripod, and you're ready to live stream and advertise your business.
Absolutely. And I'll show you a little rig that I picked up, and this is probably $20 or $25 with the stand, and ignore the little.
Yeah, it's a mic stand on the other side there. Sure.
Yeah, it's for a typical.
Yeah, it's for a simple live streaming kit that holds the mic and the phone right there where people see it. Sure.
And this thing holds my phone, which is a large phone, and it's very easy to use. Basically,
it looks like it's stable too, kind of hard to knock over, which is, some of them are real easy to tip.
Well, this is a cast iron based mic stand, so.
Oh, you tweaked it.
Yeah. I can do this one-handed.
That's great. That's great.
So, and then if I want to take it out, push the button. That's all there is to it. So it's, the necessity is the mother of invention and discovery.
Another nice thing they've got too is they got this little light available today. It clips on the back of your phone. It's called a selfie cam. It just clicks on your phone. You can put it over the camera like that. Or on this phone, it doesn't work too good because the case is so wide. But you'd put it over the phone like this, and your camera lens would poke through there. Well, it would if this case wasn't on anyway. And it lights. And it just gives this is the light. For those that didn't notice, this is the light that I use as my fill light on my computer. And look how bright this thing. Now, this thing is turned all the way down right now. Now, watch how bright this thing gets.
Yeah, but it's right there in your face, so it's perfect.
And it, so for something live streaming on your phone or whatever, and you're out and about, there you are. You're set. It's on the go. And that little light, $20.
That's cool. So, you take over the helm a second. I'm going to clear my throat.
All righty. Yes, Arthur, you are in the right place. Glad you could join us over here. We were just talking a little bit about some of the different tools for easy live streaming. Like my microphone that I've got right here. This little mic is a USB mic. It's $20. I plug it into my Chromebook with a little cheap stand that came with it, and a C920 webcam. And I'm using both of mine. They ain't tied down, but you'd use that on my little cheapy travel Chromebook, and boom, right away, I've now live streaming portable, a little more powerful than my cell phone. So live streaming today is real easy. And the nice thing about it is if you've got a hardware network, if you're using even your cell phone today, you can now buy adapters that plug into the USB port and convert even a cell phone size adapter So it converts you to a network line, so you could use it and plug it into a company router or whatever. So if that your phone's the best computer or camera you've got in the store or whatever, just plug it into your router on your internet, and now you've got a direct connection instead of Wi-Fi to your network. And your phone has a way that you can go into the settings and tell it, okay, use this phone as a camera for my computer or on the network. And there you go. So they made live streaming, and it's they've made it so easy that the only thing stopping anyone from being able to live stream, promote their business or their favorite activity or hobby or whatever the case may be, the only thing stopping them anymore is them.
Agreed. So we try to encourage people with this show in general to take a chance and try it. And when we have these open house days, if there was somebody in the audience and they say, I'm so-and-so and I've been watching your show, but I'm afraid of the camera / microphone setup, we would invite you right into the green room so you could see what it's like, because there's really nothing to it. And after a while, you get used to it, the concept of the green room. And it's like sitting around your living room with a bunch of friends. It really is. So let's see. I'm going to go into the chat stream on the website here a second and say hi.
It looks like we got Vivek has joined us. And he says namaste to everyone. He's talking to the audience as well. And we're glad to have you join us, Vivek.
Namaste.
If you got any questions you want to try to put one of us on the hot seat with regarding live streaming and the simplicity of it, I guess that's, or another topic. Now, don't go burying us in tough questions like programming or something, because then as you know, we come to you for that. So
yeah, well, and we're not going to actually attack any subjects today. Part of the reason that we're doing this today is that although I had a Saturday morning marketing Smarties planned, I wound up in the emergency room this week. And so, Lynn Sanders just messaged me. She says she just got paid. Go Read. Go Read still owes me $135. And from last.
Well, apparently she's saying now she don't or something.
Yeah, well, I might have an envelope in the mail any day now if that's the case. But and we won't make a big subject of the day, but I basically joined them in January. So January 1st, and then February, March, April, May, and then in May I quit. And there was a reason that I quit, and I closed it up. But the owner of the website, I basically pissed him off pretty good. Roland the Rebel.
So was he closed or was he kicked?
I'd say that again.
I said, did Roland close it or was he kicked?
Actually, I was ready to leave, but before I could actually leave, he closed my account. He shut me off, and so I was taken off. But I mean, his idea of kicking me out at the time was to make my account frozen, where I couldn't do anything. Right, all my articles were still up there, and then when the first of the month came, they charged me for a new month. A new month of fees. And I said, hey, by the way, you guys banned me last month, so I'd like a refund of this money. And they did indeed refund the money. So I would have to say that the owners of the website and the directors are being honorable about the money spent, the money earned. And if you look at it overall, I actually made out several $100s. I made some money with Go Read. But I mean, the difference is I was supposed to have the money last May. Well, I was supposed to have the money a month after each month that I made it. But I didn't have any of it until about, part of it before I quit. I had part of it. But then there was a big delay on 3 months And I actually saw the money, I think, in June or July. And that was, it came in a couple payments. They caught up a couple months, and there's still 1 month to go. So the thing I will say about it is that the owner of the site is being honorable. He's paying us the money. So, and I think that Lynn probably quit also. But actually, I'm gonna just check with Lynn right now and see if she wants to join in the green room. And anybody watching right now, I know there's only a few of you out there. I didn't expect a lot of people to be out there today. And the subject is not anything in particular. I was going to update people on what happened to me. And if anyone has a similar event in your life that's been similar, I'd like to hear about it, but we'll be talking about that in just a minute. But Lynn, join us in green room with a smiley face. Here's the link. Okay, we'll see if she comes in. So, what happened to me this week? It was very interesting. I was in the middle of LowellAnn's her success circle, and we're having a decent time. Got the music playing for her intro, and completed that. I'm going to send LowellAnn a green room link too, because I see that she's online. Maybe she might have the free time, the opportunity to do that.
What do you mean, what format, Arthur? We're in, if you mean as far as marketing Smarties, we're just in Hangouts. Like LowellAnn did for her Tuesdays that you come in on. That's all we're using right now.
Yeah, we can send you a green room link and you can join us, Arthur. You're welcome to do it. We're just beating around and nothing critical. And so.
Well, earlier he said he's not scared. Get jiggy with it, but I don't know what he was referencing, a green room link, or if he was referencing going live. Or Arthur can be a character just like the rest of us, so you never know
Arthur's
where he's going with something.
Yeah, but he's joined us before, so I know that he's, of course, not live. I guess he joined in the green room after we shut down the show last week or the week before.
Well, he's been live with LowellAnn a few times too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So anyway, I did send a link to LowellAnn. You never know; she might join us. But kind of the subject was what happened to me this week. We're in the middle of LowellAnn's show, and suddenly I got this acute dizzy spell. Really, really tough. I had to put my head down right there with my camera on, and I got my head up long enough to look up and shut off my camera and shut off my mic and put my head back on the desk. And I was just dizzy. I dizzied out.
So yeah, so you were saying your doctor took you off the blood pressure medicine. So what had happened? Your blood pressure had dropped too low?
Basically, what happened was my blood pressure dropped so low that I was having stroke-like symptoms, but I wasn't having a stroke. So,
yeah, well, because there was basically your blood pressure was too low to even circulate, more or less.
Blood wasn't getting to all the areas of my brain. It was like, okay, that's not enough. We're going to have to shut some stuff down here, like the RAM in your computer, you know.
Yeah.
We got to shut that program down and that program down. And the ones that got shut down was my ability to keep my equilibrium and so forth. Now, so we called 911. And believe me, I'm used to this. I think that I've called 911. I don't know. If I said 10 times, I'm not going to be off by much more than 3 or 4.
Either way.
Either way, but I'm sure it's closer to 10 or more. They had my share of ambulance rides. And I mean, after all, my first stroke, I actually drove myself. Well, I drove myself to a clinic, and then they called the ambulance, so I still had an ambulance ride. So 3 strokes, a couple of TIAs, and then several other problem issues of various things from stroke complications. So I'm a veteran of ambulances. You know, the ambulance shows up locally and they say, "Hi, Roland, how you doing?" "Oh, so blah blah blah, Ben, how you doing?" "Hey, you're looking good," you know, and so forth. I mean, the guys know me.
Right.
And that's not something to brag about, but that was pretty much the case.
When our boys were growing up, we had kind of the same scenario with the local emergency room. That it's the doctors and the nurses. We go in there one evening with one of the boys, and they were laughing with us. They were saying, they even brought it up. It's pretty bad when your doctor and nurses in the ER and in the intake at ER have you and all your children on first name basis.
No doubt, no doubt.
So yeah, I can relate to the visits enough to be first name basis.
Yeah, well, one day into my stay this few days ago, one day into my stay, the occupational therapist came in, and because you got a physical therapist and an occupational therapist.
Right.
Occupational therapists and deal with your hands and your speech, and
and they deal with you acclimating back to like using a wheelchair, transferring, using utensils around the home,
putting your shirt on,
yeah,
everything.
Occupational is bigger than most people would even begin to realize.
Hi, LowellAnn.
Hello, LowellAnn.
I just got in the door.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you for joining us. And not to invite any weird vibrations or anything, because, of course, the last time I had my deficit in functionality, it was within your show. So, so everybody, LowellAnn, this is the lady whose show I was assisting when I had my event. And I was talking about how I called the 911, and they came and picked me up, and they're I can't say enough about the service of the emergency room guys. And I was saying to LowellAnn, some of the guys know me by name, and that's really pitiful. But it was like, "Hi, Ken, how you doing?" And "Hey, what are you doing, man? Why are we back at your house again?" And so anyway, I got a ride down to the emergency room at the Mission Hospital, and they're just terrific at this hospital. So they got me in there and got me into an emergency room, and then they proceeded to try to stabilize me and do a few things, get the IV going. And it's such a trip because apparently I have a tough skin and hard veins to initiate. So, every once in a while it takes more than one poke to get me going. Or they have to poke me and then they're searching around for the vein,
Oh, yeah.
Like, anytime you're ready.
Right.
But I've got this, razor sharp object poking around in my arm. And so they got it in eventually and got some fluids in me. And apparently what was going on was I was so dehydrated. Now, I didn't mean to be, but I just guess I was drinking less than usual. But I think another thing that went on was that my body is changing. Now, do I know the physiology and then the biology of how a body changes? No, but I know the body changes. And as of a few days ago, the doctors had me on 7 meds plus aspirin. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's Barbara Quick.
Oh, wow.
Hi, Barbara. How you doing? And if anyone else in the viewing audience wants to know how do you get into the green room, you've got to let me know how to get in touch with you, and I'll send you the link. But I'm not going to post it up publicly. Mm. But I mean, basically anybody that wants to come in is welcome today.
Is it on your VCP page?
No, I'm not going to post it publicly because I don't know who's coming in that way.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
but if you comment there, I will select you and I will get the link to you. So I sent the link to Kathy Pop, and sometimes she's able to come in. Sometimes she comes in, catch her at the wrong time. She comes in without her camera, but whatever. But nice having you, Barbara. How you doing?
Greetings,
So,
Barbara.
So I was in the midst of talking about my event, leaving LowellAnn's show in an emergency room. I mean, in an ambulance to an emergency room. And that was just this last Tuesday. And I was there from Tuesday morning till Thursday night. But luckily this time, they gave me a swallow test the first thing in the morning. Last time when I went in for my stroke, I was there for 2 days and I still hadn't had a swallow test. And I was like, is it even scheduled? Come on. And they've got the IV. You know, I can't drink water. I can't eat anything. I'm sitting there and, man, that's enough to make you weaker right there, just not being able to eat or drink anything. So one thing that happens when you're in the hospital, obviously your body is doing something, and so you don't know exactly what's going on, but you know something is being damaged and something's trying to recuperate. So I'm laying down there, and it seems like when you end up at the hospital and you lay down there and you relax, and you say, oh, okay, whatever, you know, here I am. Your body weakens by nature because you're giving in, you're letting go, you're relaxing. So you automatically get weaker and things kind of like relax and maybe a few cells disconnect, whatever it is. But I am indeed weaker coming out of the hospital. But I can do everything that I did before. I can transfer in and out of my wheelchair and do whatever, you know. But somewhere along the line, I sprained my hand, and I do everything with this left hand, right?
Right.
I type, I drink my coffee, you know, and so it's kind of aggravated by everything that I do, and especially getting in and out of the bed and in and out of the wheelchair, because I have to get a good grip on the bar as I'm maneuvering my body and getting up and down. So I got to be kind of careful, and I got to take it easy. And due to the fact that this happened this week, I contacted my guest, who was going to be James Craddock, with the NFC connection. I'm just really looking forward to this event. I said, James, we got to postpone for now. And he thanked me, actually. He said, I've got so much going on that this is good for me. And so I got him off the hook, and I took myself off the hook, because in order to produce the Saturday show, I've got like 3 or 4 hours worth of work to do. I mean, just writing the details of the event are one thing. You know, I got to sit there and think creatively and write out what I'm thinking and organize it and make sure I cover everybody and all the bases and stuff, and maybe have a little fun doing it. So doing the details of the events, and then getting the events details posted in my website, in the event page of Google Plus, and also in YouTube. They're all different. You can't just copy paste it and copy paste it and copy paste it and be done with it. You got to copy paste it, adjust it, modify it, play with the format, highlight it differently here than you do over in WordPress. And so there's a lot of work. So when it's all said and done, I've got like 4 hours into producing a show before I go live. And then I get up early that day, prepare myself, make sure I'm shaved, you know, this and that and the other thing, and clean my glasses, comb my hair, and then get in the green room, usually an hour early, kind of getting into the groove of what's going on, review my notes, make sure I remember to invite Tim to join me, and then connect with my guests and get them in the green room, get them acclimated to what we're doing, preview the itinerary of the show, doing all that stuff. It's a lot of work. And so I just decided I didn't want to do that, but I didn't want to abandon connecting with people if I could avoid it. So that's, you'll figure out that whenever I'm in this type of a situation, I have an open house. And I kind of like that I've devised that. The open house concept is invitational by nature. And so if you're out there watching this and you'd like to be with us in the green room, just let me know somehow. Contact me. Post it in the links there. I'll figure out a way to connect with you, get your email or get your Google Plus or even your Facebook link, and I'll send you the link to our green room. You can join us. So that's what's been going on with me. It turns out that I had no stroke. There was no stroke. They gave me the MRI, CAT scan and this and that, tested me this and so forth. Did all the, scope, ultrasound, checked my heart, checked my everything. And they're looking at me and they're kind of holding up their hands going, I don't know. There's absolutely no stroke. So the doctor saw me the next day. He looked at the stuff over. So early afternoon, he came in and started telling me what he had found. And he surmised that I basically got so dehydrated that my system dropped in blood pressure, which reduced the blood getting to my brain, which caused me to get dizzy and basically everything but pass out in the start of LowellAnn's show. So there I was. I don't know if you saw it, but before I could turn off my camera and my mic, I had to put my head down. I mean, I was so dizzy. It was like someone said, yeah, you had the vertigo effect, right? I said, absolutely, and I felt like the last time I felt like that was a few years ago. I got this, I don't know, it was a cold or something that affected my inner ear. And I had to lay down in my bed. I couldn't move for almost 3 days. And my girlfriend, now my wife, at the time she was my girlfriend, and at the time she didn't know she was my girlfriend. It was just before we decided to be that for each other. But she came over and knocked at the door. I said, crap, how am I going to get to the door of my bedroom to let her in, And so I somehow stumbled over to the door and unlocked it and let her in. And then I fell back on the bed, was there for another 2 days, and she kind of nursed me back to health. Got me through the sickness. But that's the last time I felt like that. And then the last time before that, or the other time it was like that, was when I was in the hospital for a completely different accident, and I cracked my skull on the side of a mountain. And it was, oh my God, 2 days of swirling. And it turns out they said, well, you had a concussion. What do you expect? I said, oh, okay, that explains that. So I know what it feels like to have a concussion. And I got the same type of feeling on Tuesday. So basically, I finally got shut off from the hangout. I dropped out. And I noticed that there was some problems you were having on your show, right? What happened after that, LowellAnn?
Well, what was happening was everybody on the outside. I was getting messages from Vivek actually. So everybody on the outside could only see me.
Oh,
there was nobody showing up in the green room, but they could hear, like if other people were speaking, they could be heard, but they couldn't be seen. Well, we talked about that and decided that, well, because Jay was going to share some stuff, that's not going to work if we weren't even sure whether share screen was going to work. So I closed. So we agreed we'd all go out, and I thought, well, I'll just go back in. And when I went over to YouTube and opened the thing again, I saw you with your head on the table and Barbara hovering over you. And
wow!
I thought, well, I just have to start a new one. I mean, because I didn't think you'd want to share that. So
well,
I started up a whole new thing.
I thought I turned off my camera and mic.
Yeah, you didn't. Well, you did.
Wow.
You actually, I mean, at some point during the, before we decided to hang up, you had turned your camera and your sound off. But then when I reopened, that's what I saw. So I closed that and got rid of that quickly and started a new one, which took forever. And people were texting and wanting to know where's the link and what's going on and all of this stuff. And I'm busily trying to take as many shortcuts as I could to get the thing rolling again.
Wow. The gremlins had a field day, no doubt.
Did they ever? Anyway, so the beginning of that second hangout doesn't have my usual lovely beginning. It starts off with Aaron talking about something.
Oh, what a grand way to start.
But anyway, I thought it was an interesting session. So because of the content, so okay. I left it posted. So
yeah. So anyway, that was the Tuesday, Wednesday of my week.
Wow.
Of course, I was in for a second night, and they sent me home on Thursday. And I'm not 100%, but I didn't want to, not connect with the people today and have some kind of a session if I could avoid it. And this is not that much of a drain, so we'll finish up here in a little bit, and I'll take the rest of the day off. I'll have breakfast and lunch and dinner and watch a couple movies with Barbara. We'll have fun. But a very interesting thing happened. I'm wondering if anyone can guess, and Tim might already know, so don't give everyone else a clue. But if you can just imagine, something radical has changed in me. And it's not bad and nothing bad about it. But can anyone tell what happened? No one's actually got a clue.
Well, you did say that you were suffering vibration or dehydration.
Yes.
So I'm guessing you fainted.
Well, no, I didn't actually faint. I never lost consciousness. My speech has been affected a little bit. Like my tongue is getting used to moving again, and my lips, I could feel a little bit of numbness in my cheeks. That's why they said that I had stroke-like effects or stroke-like symptoms, but I didn't have a stroke. So
strange.
Yeah. So other than that, there's one thing that happened that I was talking to Aaron yesterday, and he noticed right off the bat. So he actually said, "Man, you're this," and he told me what it was that he noticed. But no one else can think of anything?
Not really.
Okay. So I'm in the emergency room the second day, or actually the next day after the stroke. So Tuesday, this was Wednesday. So Wednesday, I get these visitors in, my daughter and her husband, who got married just a few months ago. So they come in and we're talking and stuff, and I'm saying, the funniest thing about what's going on is that my voice has dropped down by at least a half an octave. And she said, "I was going to ask you about that," because she noticed that my voice was lower than usual. So that's what happened. I've been trying to get this resonance that I had when I was a master of ceremonies and a DJ. I had this voice all the time, and I could use this over the microphone and boom, the voice of God, and it's an asset when you pick up the mic and you're running an event or doing something, and you can command the room, and you got this voluminous, vibration coming over the sound waves. It really is helpful. Instead of having a thin or nasal voice or a squeaky voice or something, I had this chest ability. But I lost this in 2012 completely. and I didn't have my vocal range in the lower register and the higher register. They were just gone. So my days of singing high harmonies was over, and then probably still over. But I got this resonance back. I got the lower register back. And I mean, even lower than this. If I warmed up my throat, I could sing even lower than this. But
wow. Yeah, I can notice now that you mention it, I can notice that your voice is in a lower register. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I don't know why I was looking at your face and trying to see if there was something different about your face.
Yeah. But the strangest thing is that it's affected my voice. And I'm not trying to make it lower. You know, I'm not trying to hit the lower register. This is just me talking normal. So
welcome to my world about hydration. I'm supposed to drink 2 quarts of water per day.
Wow.
It's hard.
It's gotta be. It's
hard.
Well, I measured out, you know, how much liquid that I consume between like 2 big mugs and certain things, and the liquid on my cereal and this and that. And I figured out that other than that, I have to drink at least 2 more glasses of water a day, and a little bit more if I can, and then I'll be okay. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to do that. Whether I'm successful or not, we'll find out. But I mean, I got to tell you, just to be totally, you know, open about the whole thing, like, it's hard to take a leak from a wheelchair. So, you know, it's a maneuver. It's not the easiest thing, and I've gotten good at it, but it has its issues. And so I call it peeing in a bucket. And I've got my system down. I've got my extra buckets. I've got how I go. But I don't get up from this and go in the bathroom and leave it in the toilet. It's just too much work for me to do that. Now, for other things, I do transfer into the toilet. But if I have to take a leak, you know, I do it here in the chair. And
when you drink a whole lot more water, it means you're up in the night a whole lot more too.
Exactly. Well, you know, I literally take care of that lying down. I literally have my system down, and I have my procedures down so I can relieve myself while I'm lying down. But it's not the easiest thing. And I can have 2 buckets ready, but if I go more than twice, then I got a problem. Right? Barbara, sorry to wake you, but so I have my issues. But for the most part, I've worked out a pretty comfortable overall situation. And it all works out just fine. All in all, yes, my life has changed radically, but I'm still a very happy person. So what, you know? You gotta do what you gotta do, and you have to make the best of it. And I think I've figured out how to do that. So I'm happy with it. So if nobody else has a subject that they want to cover, I had something to ask you while I've got you folks with me, and maybe some people in the audience might even comment. Who knows? Nobody's commenting on my website. Not that I really. Oh, yes, they are.
You have VCP open? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Let me see if. And actually, I could probably make sure that I've got it.
He says it's boring.
What's going on?
I said Aaron says he hates water. It's boring.
Not nearly as much fun as beer.
That is funny.
The right beer. Just like the right scotch. It's got some of it's just not worth drinking.
Yeah.
Okay, I had it set for private. I'm going to open up the VCP plugin, VCP events plugin to be public. So if you want to go to the VCP events page and refresh the page, your comments may take on a different shape, and you may see the facility to display comments if you want. Not that we're really doing anything with that, but
when I went to try to open the VCP on your website, I get last week's.
Oh, but that's because you're not going to the link that we're giving you. You're going to the link from my front page.
Yes.
And but if you go to the YouTube video and click the link there, it should take you to the right page. And I just posted it inside our Hangout here. But Arthur Moorhead, you're commenting out there. I'm not scared. Get jiggy with it. Okay. And we wake. Hi, how you doing, man? Wish you could come join us soon in the green room. To be marketing, you got to develop thick skin, Roland. You know, that's very true. But the thing of it is, I hate marketing. Let me clarify. I hate marketing from the traditional sense of what the marketers devise that they're trying to do. Usually a marketer is someone, aside from the business itself, that's trying to help somebody sell more, gain more followers, spread the word, or do whatever. And it's not that they necessarily believe in the product or service, but they're there to help the business owner develop a following. So they're going to think of how can I do this? What can I do to get some exposure, to gain some following, to get more sales? And sometimes that bypasses the whole concept of what's right or what's nice or what's convenient or what makes sense. And there's a lot of deception that comes in. So marketers, too often, in my case, in my view, too often marketers step over the line and become deceptive. And it rings my bell, I'm always chewing on Lou Bortone, but I mean, this last week he was saying his open subject lines in the emails were, aren't you just sick and tired of these Black Friday, this and that and the other thing? And then he does, oh, well, might as well jump on the bandwagon. Here's my Black Friday offer. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, let's redefine integrity here. And you're laughing, but, he did this. I'm not making this up. I don't have to make things up about Lou Bortone. All I got to do is report. And
that's why I'm laughing, is because I know that this is real.
So I'm not just making this up. And I know it feels like I'm picking on Lou Bortone. He's probably a really nice guy. He really does seem like he's a really nice guy. If you were to meet him and talk with him as a friend, he's probably a super guy. But I mean, I don't like the fact that he adheres to all these strategies that to me are laced with trickery.
Well, Roland, let me tell you a story. I have a similar story. I met with a local gal here who is kind of struggling with where she wants to go next, et cetera, et cetera. It was just a coffee date. And she told me about another local person, a business person here, who was trying to recruit for enough people for a course of some sort. And as she was talking to this lady, and this lady was saying, she was working with Tony Robbins' work and something else and something else. And this person proceeded to diss everybody else that this lady mentioned, like in a very negative way. Wow. And that, as it turned out, was the very reason this woman did not sign up with her. I mean, I hadn't when she was telling me the story, my inside, I was reacting the same way as you do. I can't believe somebody would actually operate that way when they're trying to market something. But I thought, well, I'm not going to diss this woman because that's not where I come from. And but as it turned out, as we chatted about it more, this lady divulged that that was the very reason she didn't sign up, was the fact that this woman dissed all these, you know, really good people that may write good books that are suited for people at different levels of development or in different stages of their lives or whatever. And this woman just proceeded to diss them all. And I thought, wow,
well,
what a way to do business. That's you know what it is? It's getting caught up in that whole competition thing.
Yeah.
And,
when it comes to competing, I don't compete. And I was asked the question in the Alignable website, like, what do you do when all these people are competing with you and undercutting your prices? And I said, well, I just let the people know that I'm not going to compete with price just because someone else is lower than I am. I will do this for you, but other than that, you know, if money is the most important thing, then go ahead and go with these other guys, because I don't provide that service, basically, you know. And by the same token, I cost this much, and I provide a different service. And if they're doing what I do better than I am for less money, then they deserve your business. And so I let them go. I don't you know, compete with the business. And so that's been a general my general attitude for a long time, is like, and people say, oh yeah, that's a real competitive field, you're going to have trouble with that. It says, like, not really. I'm just going to advertise what I do, and the people who want me are going to let me know, and they're going to be happy with what I do, and they're going to share the word, and then it's going to go from there. I don't need the whole world to be on Roland's bandwagon. I just need the people who like working with me.
Well, and further to what you're saying, as a business coach, I would never suggest that somebody set their fees according to what everybody else is charging. That is not the way you decide on what fees you need to charge.
I agree.
There's another process altogether.
That's the fastest spiral to bankruptcy, is to try to price according to everybody else.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons I kind of got away from regular consulting with computers and went into rehab technology, is because there was no competition to speak of in rehab technology. But everybody kept lowballing and lowballing and lowballing, and you'd get a contract and they'd come in and lowball while your contract was still good. And the guy would come in and say, hey, we need to talk. This dude just cut me your contract price in half. I want less money, to pay less money. And I says, look, you signed a contract. If you want to pay the rest of the contract out without the legal hassles and costs or for breach of contract, we can sever our relationship here. But unless you can prove that he's delivering the service that you're getting from me, are you sure that's a wise move?
Wow. And, you know, basically, when I'm reviewing with a potential new client and they say, how much do you charge, blah, 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 or I need a website, you know, how much is it going to cost me? And I said, well, it really depends. We have a lot to talk about before we come to that stage in the development. So we have to talk about what they're trying to achieve. And I explained to them, it's like, I am reviewing you and interviewing you as much as you're interviewing me, because I want to be as picky as who I accept as a client as you should be in hiring me.
Well, and I've got to know, as the one being contracted, I've got to know whether or not I understand what you want and can deliver it. Because if you hire me and I don't understand it and I don't deliver, you're not going to be very happy with me. And you're going to tell a lot of people you're not happy with me.
Yeah.
Contracts are a very strange thing anymore. And I almost quit the web design business because I had 2 clients in a row that I engaged with. And then as soon as the product was almost ready to be delivered, and I was going to say, okay, here's your product, I'm almost I'm going to do the finishing touches and then it's yours. And the balance will be due. They started saying, but it doesn't have this. It doesn't do that. And it's like, well, take a look at your contract. That's not in the contract. That's not a part of what I'm doing for you. And like one lady is like, it's probably should have been a $2,000 website. I charged $800. And so we're $400 in, right? And she doesn't want to pay the balance because she's not on page 1 of Google. Thank you, LowellAnn. But I said, but search engine optimization was not included. Look at the contract. We can look at it together, pull it out, and take a look at it. Where does it say search engine optimization? And she said, well, this kind of says this thing right here, and it alludes to the fact that she may get some exposure, search engine exposure. But it's explained explicitly in my contract. Any search engine results are aside from the fact that what we're doing, they're just complementary to what I'm doing. They're not on purpose, and that's not part of the contract. And so I couldn't believe it. So I told the lady, so I'll tell you what, here's the website. Here's all the graphics I made for you. Here's all the customization I made for you. Here's all the adjustments that I created for you, because I'm a part program, I'm a part WordPress operator, So I took a WordPress installation. I made her a custom menu and certain special links and all the stuff. And I said, it's all yours. You don't owe me any balance. You can keep your $400, but go away and don't call me anymore. I said, just you go your way, I'll go mine, and we'll leave it at that. And so we cut ties on it. And she basically took the graphics from my construct, had someone else do it in a different WordPress theme, and then got charged by somebody else to do the exact same thing that I had done for her already, and still didn't have SEO results. I mean, I had told her early on that you will be found in Google because we're going to submit your website and all the stuff, and it will be findable in Google, not search engine result page 1, but you will be able to be found in Google. I said, that's two different things.
Yeah, but that's the problem. You see, so many people don't, they know so little about the way it all works that even the terminology.
Yeah, it's a case of,
exactly.
Great, you have a website. What makes you think you deserve to be on page 1?
Yeah, right.
I can tell you right now, probably nothing.
Roland, apparently something else has become of benefit with your change with your voice, because Aaron is saying that your speech rate has increased big time. He's having trouble understanding you because you're talking so fast.
Well, I think
if
that's
you could
your
slow
imagination.
down a little bit for him, he would appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a joke coming from Aaron, because indeed my speech has not speeded up. I can tell you right now, I know it, that it has not. I might be mumbling a little bit more than I was, and that might be why you're not able to understand me, but I definitely have not sped up. So thank you, Aaron.
He's from California. I don't know that they can talk much faster than that unless you're Spanish or, well, you are Japanese, though. I was going to say unless you're Spanish or Japanese, because those people just rattle.
There's a lot of truth to that.
I lived out there for 7.5 years.
Yeah. The Japanese are able to speak pretty fast. They got their syllabic structure down where it's very simple. So A's are always ah. There's always ah. An A in Japanese is never A or ah. It's always ah. So things like that is very simplified and standardized.
Yeah, English is the one that's complicated. That's part of the reason it's so slow, is we have so much trash in the language. Vivek says that an interesting point, and I'm sure we've all thought about it and just never thought to phrase it and state it. Let me grab that, and we'll go ahead and bring it into the stream, because that is a really good point. that he's making there about Google having a page one.
Oh.
So the next time someone says they deserve or they want to be on page one of Google, here is the perfect reply. Let me get this right. I'll display, pop that up. I'll go over here and hit screen share. Oh, dog, he's decided to park by the window. Right in time. There you go. If you want to bring that up on screen, Roland. It says Google has no page one. Everyone searching the web gets their very own first page when they do their search. Search results are customized to each individual visitor depending on their own search history.
Sure. Now, that's the fact of the matter we make. But the practical understanding is that if a search engine optimizer does his job, you're going to be on more of those page ones for more people if they've done their job right, and if you deserve to be on page one. So when they say page one, no, there's no single page one in a search, and everybody gets their own. But if you're relevant regionally, you will be on page one. If you deserve to be, and if people have done their job right. So it depends on so many things, but the odds increase tremendously if you do a few things right. And instead of just put up a website and expect it to be on page one. So the obvious thing is that I'm probably better off being in the live streaming training business than building websites that people that don't know what the hell a website is all about or what they're trying to achieve with a website. And there's a lot involved, and education has to ensue before you take the next step to developing a website. Because if you come to me and say, I want to build a website, I want to have you build me a website, I've got 50 questions that you have to answer before I can say I can do this for you or I can't do this.
You know, it's funny, we were talking about SEO. Jay's webinar, a Wealthy Affiliate webinar last night was titled 7 SEO Strategies to Explode Your Rankings in 2018. So he had 7 strategies and a bonus one. So,
well, coming from Jay, I'm sure that they are solid strategies.
Yeah, they are.
And in addition to that, it's probably things that we should all be doing that most of us don't do because we are just so clueless at it. And so we do some of the things. And I come from the school of thought that I could do everything right, but it still may not get me on page one. But if I do a few things consistently right, it's going to improve my chances greatly. Yeah. So the one thing that I focused on was we should be doing video.
Yep.
Okay, so we're about to close down. We're at the top of the hour here. But why did I call this Whitebox open house? It's because
I wondered that too. What I mean, the open house part I understood, but what did you mean by Whitebox?
Well, quite simply, I'm going to Whitebox Barbara and give her 5 minutes right now to speak. So it's all yours, Barbara. Your Whitebox. So turn on your microphone and talk to us.
Hi. I thought I was gone from home an hour ago, but here I am still.
So what's going on with your life? How you survived the fires and everything's gone there, and things have stabilized. You lost your dog a few months ago, and you've had a lot going on.
Yeah, we lost Susie. She was at least 15. We never knew her exact age. Most of our dogs have been rescues, and Susie among them. And so we lost her, and 10 days later, I lost Cliff.
Oh, that's
and
right.
So it's been a little trying. With Susie, age-wise, her back legs were to a point where, poor baby, she just was having such a difficult time standing even. Right. She'd fall every few steps, and so we knew it was time. With Cliff, he was having so much difficulty. I think that Lori and I have talked, my daughter Lori and I have talked about it. She lives here with me. And I think it made it easier for both of us by looking at the idea of what a relief for him.
Right.
You know, I don't know if you've been seeing the ads, I guess I would call them commercial things that have been popping on TV the last few days. Actually, I'd never seen them before until the last few days, about with Parkinson's, they can have hallucinations and delusions.
Oh, yeah.
And they show a man who looks just lost. That's how Cliff was. And he had, when he went into the hospital that last time for 4 days, well, he had this just tremendous fear. We went to see him, I think about the second day in, and he says, whispers, and he goes, I can't tell you, I'll tell you when we're out of here, but he says, I can't tell you now, it's too dangerous. And Lori and I said, well, your voice, nobody's going to hear your voice. His voice was so soft. You had to almost get your ear in his mouth to hear. And we said, no one's going to hear you. We can't hear you. Finally, Lori came real close and she says, whisper in my ear, and, you know, so I know what you're talking about. And he says to her, he says, there's a gang of gangsters going around the hospital. And if they hear me telling you, well, he says, they're going to come in and kill all of us. He had that fear, that delusion that this was happening and was real. He got to a point where he couldn't tell what was real and what wasn't real. And so his life was so miserable. And, you know, no matter what we would say, you know, explain to him, no, now we're here, you can touch us. The other things you're worried about aren't real. He couldn't fathom it. His brain wouldn't let him fathom it. So for about a year now, he had said, I just can't live this way. He says, my life is just miserable. Plus pain. He'd have pain that just went from here to there to there. You know, you couldn't treat the pain. A lot of it, we don't know. Was it imaginary? Was it real? We don't know. And but it was real to him. So he was in such distress that it's a relief knowing he's out of that distress.
Yes. And I commend you for coming out through all of this with such a positive attitude. You are exemplary in what you bring to the group here, because you've been through so much. I can't even begin to itemize the things that have gone on in your life, with the people in your life, your family members, the animals, and just, you know, we analyzed it at one time. It was like the soap opera of Barbara, because there's so much going on for you. And in spite of all of this, and by the way, for those who may not know, Barbara was the very first one in a hangout with me for marketing Smarties, and she and I started that whole thing, you know, and thinking it was a California gig, and but she joined me and we started marketing Smarties, and it grew into, you know, something that touches people globally. Not that I've got a bunch of people watching right now, but I mean, it does touch more people, and she helped me escort my way into that. And as a result, I found out I've been here for 3 years. So I'm celebrating my 3 years, roughly my anniversary. And I've got 120 or more shows under my belt from doing marketing Smarties on most Saturdays. So that's you joined me on this. But your attitude through all of this, first of all, you're probably one of the most joyous people to be around, and you're always smiling and you're always positive. And I haven't heard you diss anybody. You've never pulled a Lou tone on anybody. And I just think that you're exemplary. You're smiling and you're positive, and you look at the good side. And indeed, I'm glad that there are certain transitions in your life that you've gotten past and you can move on and still live a healthy life with a smile on your face. It's great. So hopefully now we're going to be encouraging you with a little bit of help from Monica Miller starting soon, that you can maybe get involved in your writing again and express some of the multitude of things that have gone on in your life. And I'm hoping to encourage you to do that. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, I really hold you up in the midst of all this. Yes?
The one thing I think where we've connected from the beginning is your positive attitude. That was what kind of connected us as friends.
You know, I absolutely agree, because in spite of the fact that I diss people, because I diss people when they're being deceptive and stuff, we are two very positive people. We have to figure out the solution to things and to be positive and to work it through and survive. And in spite of whatever pain, in spite of the challenge, we say, this is how we benefited. This was the positive side of that. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to still stride in a positive fashion. So in that respect, you and I are very much in a similar groove there, and I love it.
Yep.
So thank you for identifying that. And in spite of that, Smarties was started with the negative bend that if you don't want to watch this show, then turn the digital knob. I don't care. Leave, go away, leave us to the ones that want to speak and talk about this stuff. We'll gather, and we don't care if you're not here. And you know, I know that can be a negative attitude, but basically, I had to decide whether I needed the companionship of my peers, or was I going to stand alone and speak my mind and stand up for what I thought was right. And as you know, I don't feel real good about the typical traditional marketing anymore. So I do it differently. And I think that the people can achieve something by not following the basic rules and fundamentals of traditional marketing. I think that there are other ways. And I refuse to believe that you have to disconnect from integrity in order to sell more or get more or do those things. I believe that you can integrate integrity, authenticity, and goodness, and you know, healthy attitude, and be a total success. I have to believe that that's true. And so if somebody comes along, like certain people that we've mentioned, and they're leaning on the traditional marketing concepts of oh well, you know, let me grab you with my shiny object, and if you buy it now, you're going to get 50% off. And then you contact me tomorrow and says, you've only got 3 more days left before this offer goes away. So like, I feel like I didn't buy it from you the first time. What makes you think I'm going to buy it from you now? And it's, you know, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to do those things.
LowellAnn, I don't want to sound like I'm promoting, but one thing I bought into Wealthy Affiliate because at the time when they had a Black Friday deal going.
Yeah.
And do you know what they've done though that to me shows their values is that every time you renew at the same time, you get their same Black Friday deal.
That's cool.
It's gone on for several years.
That's very cool.
I mean, that sometimes people do get caught up in sales and Black Friday deals or whatever. But to me, I mean, the next year, the following year, when it came time to renew, I was blown away when it was still the Black Friday price.
That's cool.
That's an amazing thing, I think.
It is, because technically they don't have to give you what they didn't promise you. No. But when they deliver and they over deliver, that sells you on the concept, and that goes so much farther in basically promoting their own brand, because you're going to talk about them and say, Wealthy Affiliate does this for me.
Yeah.
And it was unexpected, and they did that for me.
Yeah.
And that's the type of business that I want to represent too.
Yeah.
I want people to say, Roland delivers, but he over delivers. I always seem to get more than I think I paid for. And that's the feeling that I want to generate. And if we're building friendships and relationships in the midst of all this business, that's going to happen naturally, right? Because we're going to give our attention to somebody in earnest. And where we have to charge, yes, we're going to charge, but the people are going to get their full dollar for the investment. So anyway, and so mainly what I wanted to do with this white boxing of Barbara was present you as, you know, I wanted to know what was going on with you. We're going to catch up with your life and everything that's going on. And I wanted to hold you up as a person and an icon representing positivity. And I want to thank you for attending and being with us today.
So Aaron says, wow, prayers your way, Sister Barbara Quick. He calls all the women that he knows online, he calls them sister.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, Aaron's got away with the words.
Yeah.
And thank you, Aaron. I see you out there. I see also that Roz Boundy is out there. Arthur's still around. And we have 8 people watching, apparently. I'm kind of surprised at that. But today was I'll take you out the white boxing now. Sorry. But, you know, this has been a really weird week. I'm really glad to have taken the Saturday Smarties off because it was significantly less work for me. But it makes me happy that we were able to gather and have some fun here. And thank you very much for showing up. I'm actually getting more viewers than I sometimes do on my regular Smarties show. So,
well, Roland, it just only shows. I mean, I was really concerned about you. And so I connected with a few people to see if they had heard from you. I just needed to know whether you had dropped out altogether or whether I had just lost connection.
No, Roland has not checked out quite yet.
But I think we were all really concerned for you. So
yeah, and I
really
appreciate
good to
it.
see you back upright.
Yeah, thank you. Thank all of you very much. And I tell you what, one thing that I will say is a hospital bed is both a good thing and a horrible thing. When you're in a hospital bed, the ones they have nowadays, they inflate and they do things so you don't get any hospital bed sores, or you have less of them anyway. But if I want to move, or if I want to move my leg or do something, it's like, oh my God, you feel like you're in this mold that you can't move and do anything. You feel trapped in your bed. And I'm glad to be home. I'm really glad to be home on my own mattress, in my own chair, and in front of my own computer. And I feel reconnected with life. So that's a good thing. But strangely enough, we go through these changes and we don't always know where the benefit is happening, but we have to believe that everything happens for a reason and everything has its positive side. You have to ask yourself, what is the positive? So as the bad thing, or this conceivably bad thing, is happening to you, you have to wonder, where am I going to come out of this? What am I going to do as I evolve? What good is coming to me now? Even though it seems like you're going through a terrible thing, you have to think about what good is coming out of this. And there is definitely some good coming out of this. My voice lowered by a half an octave, among other things. And I can't explain it. I can't explain why my voice is clearer in the lower register at all. I can't explain it.
Hey, Roland, are you going back to announcing? Going back to...
Well, no, I think I'll stick in the same vein that I'm doing, which is definitely announcing enough for me. And I'll have some fun with that. But vocally, I'm just glad that I didn't lose some of this. You know, it could have gone the other way, and then I would have more to work with trying to get my voice heard and expressed in these hangouts and in live streaming. But it was working out okay. I'm grateful for it. And so I'm going to do a whole episode, and especially in Aaron's stroke.tv.net, and a whole series probably on being positive. I might even strike up the what is the positive concept again. I've still got the website and the domain. What is the positive? Because there's always a way to look at things positively. And no matter what, when you looks like you've been stomped on pretty good, it's to give you a new perspective on something. And part of your destiny, part of what you're expressing and developing and showing the world comes from that perspective. And in spite of the fact that people think this happened to me or that happened to me, and gee, I'm a victim, I don't believe that. And if you believe that you're a victim, yeah, you're going to be unhappy, you're going to be negative, you're going to have your problems in living. But I do not believe that you can be a victim. I believe that somehow, one way or another, we are creating our own reality. And I live by that. I believe it. And I believe that the solution is that we vibrate in the solution that we want to see. Gandhi said it, be the change you want to see. We have to vibrate in the healing vibration in order to heal. Because if you give somebody what you think is the medicine or the therapy that's going to heal them or fix them, and they're basically really, really negative, you know that the medicine or the therapy is not going to work. They're so negative and so down that they're going to stay in their funk, and it's not going to help them. But if somebody rises in vibration to the healing energy, they are receptive to the positive nature of the world, which I think is what God gave us and devised as part of his concept of heaven on earth. Now that's my theory. And then people are looking at me saying, well, look at that idiot in the wheelchair talking about heaven on earth. Well, it's my perspective. And in spite of whatever it is that people think when they look at me or look at my situation, I'm happy camper. Are you? So, let's get beyond that before we start questioning whether Roland's right or wrong. I don't think there is a right or wrong, but we choose the attitude that we're going to have, and we definitely have a direct effect on what's going to be experiencing in our future, what we're going to experience. And I'm glad to know that for sure. So, although we didn't have a Saturday morning marketing Smarties, we had a nice little gathering with Tim, LowellAnn, and Barbara. And I hope that I didn't miss anybody that wanted to be in the green room. I tried to make it clear that I would contact you and send you the link if you wanted to be. But I also thank the people that showed up on the outside there and had a lot of people commenting. So I'll go through the comments later and talk back at you and say hi. And thank you very much. But I guess we'll sign off. Anyone else have a last word that they would like to say before we go? Tim? Anybody? Okay, well, you're gonna let me sink with my ship here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and sign off and say thank you guys for joining me, and we'll see you again next week. We'll resume the natural display of Saturday morning marketing Smarties in another week. I'll see you then. No music today. Bye-bye.